Good afternoon, my name is Piran Phillips and welcome to Solent Sports News. It's 3:30 and here are your sporting headlines. Breaking news in the last couple of minutes, Audi boss Jonathan Wheatley will leave with immediate effect. Matteo Binotto will take on Wheatley's responsibilities for the Formula One team. In other breaking news, ex-footballer Joey Barton has today been denied bail. Barton was recently charged with GBH over an alleged assault near a golf club. On to brighter news, Manchester United's Harry Maguire and Kobbie Mainoo return to the England squad. Thomas Tuchel announced an astonishing 35 players in his squad. But Trent Alexander-Arnold and Ollie Watkins miss out. This is England's last camp ahead of this summer's World Cup. The Three Lions host Uruguay and Japan this week.
Even more happy, more excited to be back soon on the pitch, to have my players back and have 2 matches before we finally go to the World Cup. I think it's a moment in March to acknowledge that the March camp is a bit of a unique camp. We decided to kind of split it in 2 camps, which means we invited 19 outfield players and 4 goalkeepers into the first part of the camp, meaning until the match against Uruguay, to give these players a real chance to impress.
This week's Solent Freeze football team had the chance to make history. After getting promotion to the Men's Western Tier 5 last season, a win would have claimed them the title and back-to-back promotions.
Third football team are victors of the Men's Tier 5 Bucks Western League. After 1 point in their first 3 games, they've won 5 in 5. And to win the league, it all came down to 1 game at the end of the season against Exeter's 5th team. Solent won the game 2-1 after a hard-fought final 10 minutes. Here's what Solent's coach said at half-time to get the team over the line.
And it's all ours, man. It's ours to manage the game, and if we can kill them off with a third, do it. Alright? We take no prisoners today. We want to make sure that we get this and we do it right. Understood? Yeah. Go out there, work hard, get the done.
Solent's coach was delighted with their performance and gave their win to the hard work they put in over the last 6 months.
Come a long way since the start of the year, where we only picked up a point out of a possible 9, and then ever since then we've just been unbelievable. Every week we've just found a different way to win, whether that's by doing the basics right or doing the scrappy bits. Again, it takes a lot of gut, takes a lot of bottle, so to speak. The confidence in the boys coming into this was sky high, especially after our 10-0 a couple of weeks ago. We backed ourselves, and especially with the way our form has been, we've been unbelievable. So coming into this, it's all about, keeping calm, not raising to the occasion too much, and making sure that you stay with your 2 feet on the ground and you play the 11 that's in front of you on the pitch on the day.
Third and first year player were also very happy with the win.
Deserved, I'd say. Final game of my uni life. 7 wins in a row now, buzzing.
Yeah, I would say just the start of my uni life, fresher, great first year of football, and yeah, buzzing to win the league.
Lloyd Stevens, Solent Sports News.
Continuing Solent's success, the long wait for a Nationals win for the Solent Ravens is over. In the Level 2 co-ed non-tumble, the Ravens defeated 8 other teams to become national champions at Legacy Cheer and Dance in Birmingham. Nathan Wallen explored the Ravens' success.
Here are the Solent Ravens with their winning routine at Legacy Cheer and Dance in Birmingham.
So I'm on a division called non-tumble co-ed 2. So what we do in our routine, we'll do like jumps, tumbling, stunting, baskets, and a bit of dance as well, yeah. So quite a lot of unis are there, and each different unis will be in different divisions. So in our division there was 8 teams, so there was 8 unis competing against us. And yeah, basically everyone does their 2-minute or 2.5-minute routine depending on your division.
The upper body strength and athleticism required to complete these stunts is incredible, with each stunt group having 4 to 5 people.
I mean, obviously you'd want to win, but we weren't expecting a win. We hit 0. I think it was our first time as a team hitting 0, so what that means is there was 0 deductions, so there was like 0 mistakes. So yeah, that's a really big thing in cheer to have a hit zero routine. So yeah.
Coached and ran completely by students at Solent University, this makes this win even more impressive.
When we got our score back, we scored a 94%, so obviously that's really good. So then we had high hopes, but I was personally expecting top 3. So yeah, we make the routine and we teach everyone how to do the skills and coach them if something goes wrong, we're there to figure out what's wrong and how to fix it. But then so I'm a flyer, so I'm the person that gets thrown in the air. I mean, it's mostly a lot of fake it till you make it, to be honest. You just need to have a lot of confidence, trust the people that are under you, that they're going to catch you, they're going to do their job so you can do yours. Yeah, a lot of body control, a lot of flexibility as well.
Joanna, Need and the rest of the team are now preparing for their next competition at ICC in Telford on Sunday, with growing expectations to win another national championship.
The biggest weekend in the calendar has officially arrived for UK fight fans. Chloe Boyne gives us a rundown of what's happening this weekend.
I'm currently on my way up to London for a huge weekend of MMA action. There's Cage Warriors 203 tonight, which is headlined by Olisawa and Wesley Meyer for the vacant bantamweight title, and tomorrow night is the big one. It's Lerone Murphy versus Movsar Evloev to find out who's going to be the #1 contender to take on Alexander Volkanovski in a title fight. It's going to be absolutely huge. There's a lot going on. There's a ceremonial weigh-ins this evening just before Cage Warriors, and there's a meet and greet as well. An amazing weekend for UK fight fans and the biggest one in the calendar for UK fans.
One host, Greg James, has completed his final day of cycling for Comic Relief. James cycled 1,000 kilometres from Weymouth to Edinburgh, taking 8 days. Over £4 million has been raised so far for charity.
Unbelievable. Oh, this is incredible. What a really special welcoming for something that has absolutely taken its toll, and he's done so much good for so many people.
I love that. And look at everybody waving him. He's about to cross that line. Is everybody, we're all in tears here. Yes, Greg!
Well done, Greg James.
Back to football, and ahead of this weekend's Carabao Cup match against Manchester City and Arsenal, tailgating will now be a criminal offence. If caught tailgating, offenders will be handed a fine of up to £1,000 and a banning order of up to 5 years. Ethan Cook is now live with journalist Graham Hiley to give us a closer insight to tailgating. Ethan, go ahead.
Thank you, Piran. So Graham, you were at the Euro 2020 final, which has been part of the reason this rule has been put in place. Can you talk about your experience with your son at that game?
It was absolutely horrific. We were so excited going off to Wembley. Lifetime's ambition to see England play in a major final. Got there and it was absolute mayhem. There was fans clearly high on drugs. They'd been drinking, was fighting. It was a really scary and intimidating atmosphere, particularly for Tim being in a wheelchair. But the worst of it was when we finally got to the disabled entrance, there was a crowd of around about 100, 150 maybe, fans just milling around outside. We didn't realise at the time, but they had specifically targeted the disabled entrances as a weak point. And we couldn't even get near the door. It had an airlock system with the door opening outwards, and then you go in, and then another one opens in, was supposedly as a security measure. Couldn't get near it. Eventually, somebody in a high-vis jacket took my son's wheelchair and said, "Come on, let's get the disabled in," and pushed people out the way. We got as far as the door, and he was about to go through, and I said, "Thanks, I'll take him now." And he said, "No, I'll just get him in." I said, "No, I'll take him now." Turned out it was a fan in a high-vis jacket posing as a steward and trying to get in without a ticket. And yeah, he was prepared to hijack a disabled person's wheelchair in order to get in the stadium. Finally got in, and within a minute, I would say that group of 100 fans had somehow managed to get into that airlock system. There was 5 stewards there, all of whom were expecting to just meet and greet. No security. They had no protective gear at all. They were trampled. Guy with on crutches with a broken leg, he was thrown to the ground and trampled as well. It was an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, it absolutely sounds like a horrific nightmare. Hopefully this rule can change that. Thank you for being with us here, Graham. Piran, back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Ethan. Thank you for that. In this week's episode of Testing the Difficulty of Sports, Ed Groves gave archery a go. Here's the full story.
Shoot!
One of the reasons I quite like competing is I really do quite like the adrenaline and I want to win a lot of things. So at the competition I scored 539, which is an average of 9, which is just the yellow bit or smaller. This is a recurve bow, which is one of the 3 sort of major styles of archery. What defines it is I shoot with a sight and I shoot with stabilizers, and this little bit here is called a clicker. You need to be shooting regularly. You need to be shooting a lot of arrows. If you want to be winning national events, you need to be shooting hundreds, maybe thousands of arrows a week. It's actually quite similar to golf. If you imagine a line from this toe to this toe, you want it to end in the center of the target.
Yes.
Nice. And up. Aim with the sight all the way back to your face, under the chin. Come down, come down, come down. Yes, so in archery, we shoot according to your eye dominance. Unless there's a reason such as an injury otherwise. And my left eye is dominant, so I should shoot with that, but the vision in it is considerably worse as well. So instead I shoot with my right eye, and to avoid scrunching up my face and making me tense, I cover it up with an eye patch, which allows me to keep it completely relaxed, which makes it more consistent. You're drawing to the side of your face, try and draw to the front. So rather than coming back here, you're drawing it up to here, to the front of your face.
Yeah.
So try and touch your nose to the string.
Yeah.
So it's a very different discipline, dealing with people and teaching them and all of that. But it's rewarding in its own right, so I really enjoyed that.
That is tough, you know. That is really hard. This is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be, and I'll keep persevering, but I'm about to lose my head.
Even though I got some points on the board, in the end, it's clear to see how big the skill gap really is. Ed Groves, Solent Sports News.
The Olympic Games are actively adding new sports to modernise their events. Axe throwing has recently seen a significant rise in participation, even becoming a competitive activity. Could we see it as an Olympic sport sometime soon?
The word sport is mentioned. Axe throwing is not the first thing that comes to mind. At Axology, there is a chance to try this niche sport.
So Axology, we're an axe throwing business here in Southampton. We've been here since about June 2023. I myself have worked here since October 2023, so I've been here for almost 2.5 years now.
Of course, Axology is a lot more relaxed than the competitive scene. But is there a difference between throwing an axe with your mates and competing?
Oh, they're two separate things. You know, it can definitely be a serious sport, but just in terms of, you know, coming around here with the family and stuff, yeah, then you can have fun with it, of course. Yeah, so the way that we do it here, we do a little bit more of a simplified version. Typically with axe throwing you would only throw 1 axe at a time, but here we throw 3. Typically in a game of axe throwing you would take 10 rounds, and then you just take your scores as you go along. Pretty similar to archery in that sense. But here the bullseye's worth 5, and then there's 2 green dots in the top left and right. They're both worth 7, so they're worth a little bit more.
From a first impression, you may be reminded of sports such as darts and archery. But do these sports possess any similarities?
Well, I think there's some similarities. I think with archery we have very similar targets, but technique-wise they're 2 completely different things, of course. And then with darts as well, a lot of people come in with the misconception that this is just big darts. I always like to tell them that it's a completely different technique. It's a completely different sport.
Once we got our tutorial, it was time for us to give it a go. At first, we tried the two-handed technique. And, well, see for yourself. Then we tried one-handed, and there was a vast improvement. After playing, we began to think, should axe throwing be part of the Olympics?
I would say so, yeah, definitely. I think it would be nice to see the Olympics sort of introduce a couple more sports, you know. Sort of ruffle a couple of feathers, that'd be nice.
Pat Fitzgerald, Solent Sports News.
That's all from us today. You can keep up to date 24/7 on our website, Solent Sports News. Have a great weekend in the sun as spring is here. We will see you next Friday at 11:30 a.m. I'm Piran Phillips. Goodbye.